You guys, this is our second season elk hunting, Jonathan's first season, and boy was this our most challenging, emotional roller coaster thus far.
And the most exciting, by far the most exciting.
This is my second season elk hunting, and we kind of already know a little gist of what it takes and what you need to basically pack, prepare, all of the things. One thing for sure is we're going back to New Mexico. My first hunt was with Gary, Daryl, and LG. They are literally the best guides to learn from. So this season we're doing it again with the best, and I'm not gonna lie, if you have never trained in altitude, it kicks your booty for sure.
I trained all year. I learned and was humbled last season. I went along as support, basically carrying packs and gear and all that.
He's the best husband in the world.
But I really got my ass kicked by the altitude. And so for this last year leading up to this hunt, I was very much training specifically for endurance, carrying packs, long hikes, uphill, and getting my cardio in tip-top shape. And it made all the difference in the world on this hunt. You don't want to lose an elk because you weren't fit.
For me, it's one of those things where it is very important to make the most ethical kill that I possibly can, so that the animal, one, does not suffer, and then two, there's nothing better than knowing exactly where my meat is coming from, and the fact that it was by my own hands is
let's
really
talk
powerful.
about, the reason why we hunt is, I want to clarify very much so for myself. Other people I can't speak for, I can speak for myself. First I was flabbergasted. I'm like, listen, if a vegan has a problem with someone hunting, I totally understand it because they have a legitimate rational reason for why they think that hunting is wrong. That to me, while I may, agree, disagree, the whole thing, clearly I don't agree with it, but I don't think that it's wrong, and I don't think that is an illogical basis to have your worldview. I don't. That's a logical argument. What flabbergasts me is people who eat meat, but who get very upset about hunting. That to me, I just can't wrap my head around, because you are eating the same meat that I'm actually going out and getting myself. Physically getting. So then I start to think, well, there has to be some kind of a logical reason behind that. And what I think is this. I think that people have this idea that hunting is a sport, right? So that we're getting dressed up, taking our guns out, and shooting an animal for the fun of just shooting an animal. Almost like target practicing, but with a real life being. And that could be farther from the truth. The reason why we're going out is to actually go get the meat that is going to go into our freezer and that we're going to eat and share with our family and friends for the next year. It's the same thing essentially as going to the grocery store and buying, if I could buy like a whole cow or a half cow. The difference is that A, I'm taking responsibility for where my food is coming from, right? I know that it's the most nutritious, I know that it's the most free range, I know there's no hormones or chemicals or anything weird. So I selfishly am eating the most nutrient-dense meat I can possibly get in the world. If anyone has ever watched the PETA videos, PETA actually is what inspired me to want to hunt. PETA released these very detailed videos of what the conditions in factory farms in America were like, and the quality of the meat, the way the animals were treated, the sanitation, and it actually horrified us. And I remember thinking to myself, I saw it when I was in college, and I thought to myself, if I ever get the chance to buy my meat from farms, beef from farms directly, I'm going to. And then the next iteration is, once we made some more money and kind of learn more about shooting, we want to go out and get our own meat.
The game plan is, so we drive to New Mexico because we want to, obviously, once we make the kill, because we're going in with positive attitudes, is to be able to put it on ice and then drive it back. Plus we have a ton of dogs, so they come with us on the ride. So
we took 2 trucks, both the Raptors. We had the dogs. My Raptor was full. The bed was full of basically all of our coolers. And then I had our 2 Jonathans coming with us on their, I guess, second hunt. Go check that out.
And then I had the truck full of dogs.
Dogs, yeah, dogs and gear, dogs and guns.
Traditionally, what we learned is when you're on a hunt and you're hunting with 2 people, you plan who's hunting first. So when that person is hunting first, that means we're strictly only looking for a specific elk, and it's game time for them to make the kill. Then the other person will go ahead the following day or after that person makes the kill. So Jonathan went ahead, and I decided I wanted him to be first because this was his first season hunting, and I felt like that was kind of the right thing to do, and that was initially the game plan that we had drawn up.
So I'm excited. This is my first hunt. I'm getting ready to, get in there and show them.
How are you feeling? How are your emotions?
You know what, my emotions are more so excitement. I definitely don't have a problem thinking about making a kill. I know that's a big hurdle for some new hunters, but I think I've just been around firearms and shooting for so long. The idea of actually killing the animal wasn't as scary to me as making an ethical shot. Losing sleep over the idea of not making an ethical shot, so I really trained hard for it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. This is game time. This is when all the preparation comes into fruition. This is gonna be it. And so we're going, it's getting towards the end of the day. I'm starting to think we're gonna have to start again tomorrow early and maybe find some elk. And we come across a herd and there is a monster. So we spotted some elk and now we're gonna walk around and try to get a better angle so we can get a good shot, but there's a great bull. The bull is awesome, beautiful, and she's gonna get him now. We see it, and of course I wanted it, but then I remembered Natalie's dad. So Natalie's dad, he's getting older and he has some health problems, but he loves hearing about our hunts because his best friend hunted.
My godfather.
Yeah, hunted his whole life, and so he loves hearing about the hunt. And this season, he told Natalie specifically, he's like, listen, your first elk was a nice one. It was kind of small. This season, I want you to get a bad boy. And so we saw this big old bull, huge, and we said, Natalie, this one you gotta get this one and make your dad proud.
He passed the torch to me, and I immediately. It's one of those things where you have to be able to have your head on a swivel and be able to shift immediately because things are constantly changing when you're out there, just like in life. So you have to be able to pivot and just make correct choices and be able to go with the flow. When he basically passed the torch to me, because this bull was gorgeous and huge, I instinctively wanted to say, no, you take it, because in my head all day I was already emotionally prepared for him. But then, he threw the ball to me and then it was my time to step up. And so here I go. Now all of a sudden we shift and it's my turn to go ahead and position myself so I can make the most ethical and take home some meat. I think it was 320 yards is where we kind of marked at. And now, this is a whole nother setup. I'm staring down the barrel. There's so much action going on.
There's a lot of action going on.
There's a ton of bulls. There's a ton of cows all around as well, the females. And
babies.
And the babies, and that's what you don't want to do is, on accident, shoot a baby.
Because the bull's here, he's the head of it all, right? And so the other ones are kind of walking behind it, which is, she's good. So not just walking in front of the elk, of the bull, but walking behind. So that plays into the factor too, because you want a clear shot of the bull with nothing behind it. That way, if you miss or something goes wrong, you're not hitting a calf or a cow. And
it was very, very different from my first elk kill because I was set up so high and they were on a mountain peak, so I had nothing in my way. This one is, I'm 320 yards away, but there's so much commotion.
High grass.
With a ton of grass that I have never had to kind of experience or navigate before. So I was taking a very long time to make my shot because—
a very long time.
Where at one point in time, and I'm a very competitive person and I work with my husband, as you guys know, where he's my best friend, but he also talks to me just like an equal. And so I look at him and he's so annoyed because he knows that I have a solid shot. My shot is on, if anything, I kind of am a better shot than him, and he knows this. And so he's getting annoyed with me in the sense of I'm taking too much time. And that is a problem. So like going into future hunts, I'm gonna have to work on that because time is of the essence. If you take too much time, then you miss your chance and then you might not see another elk for the rest of the season and you go home empty.
And in my mind, I'm like, hey, listen, that was gonna be my bull. That's a killer bull. That was gonna be mine. I'm passing it off to you, and then you're gonna risk it leaving, running off, scenting us and going. And then now I've lost this awesome bull, and you've lost this awesome bull. So I definitely was sending out some aggravated vibes.
Oh yeah, I look to my left and he wants to literally punch me in the face. I could read it, like he is so annoyed with me. To my defense, I wanted to make sure that I felt 110% confident with once I pulled that trigger, that animal was going down, period. That's where my head was at, and I did not feel comfortable because my setup was a little bit, I felt not sturdy enough. I felt there was
Well, you were shooting off a stick, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And you're used to shooting prone or resting on something, and that made a big difference. Shooting off sticks, I find more difficult.
It just didn't feel the best, and so what happened was all of a sudden, now we're getting into nightfall.
Yeah.
So we're losing light.
And for those who don't know, once it gets past a certain point, it is like illegal
Oh, yeah.
to still shoot the animal. So the animal could be in the best position ever, you have the best shot ever, but once it gets past a certain time, then it's illegal to do it.
Right, the animal shifts and I don't have the shot now. So now emotions are even more heightened because I'm mad at myself saying, oh my God, you're an idiot. You just missed your chance. You missed it. This is like the biggest bull that I have ever seen, and I just blew my shot literally in the chance of potentially making the kill. But luckily God was on my side because all of a sudden, for whatever reason, and this is why I really do feel everyone should experience however you feel about hunting, you should experience it at least one time because of the emotions and the experience in whole. These bulls were definitely on one, and so, you know, they started doing a little song and dance with one another, and another bull came out. So
another bull came out, yeah. So when the other bull came out, this head bull was like, oh hell no, now you're on my territory. So he came back to challenge this new bull, and then they started fighting.
It was wild. It was a really wild experience because they had no idea that we were there, and I felt we were so close, and I just needed some popcorn.
And these two bulls are just like standing off and posturing and bugling. It was insane.
But now we're hustling to get into another position, set up, and now here we go. This is my second chance for this bull. As soon as Daryl says, okay, whenever you're ready, you got it. I take a deep breath and take my shot.
Starched. Starched Natalie. Fucking great shot. He's done. And then I freak out when she shoots it. So we shoot suppressed, which I highly recommend because it doesn't make a lot of noise, so you're not like spooking all the elk with a big bang, right? But what I did was, wrong. So she hit it, and I'm like, oh! Starched it, you starched it. And then Daryl's like, yo, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Because you may actually have a shot at this other bull. So she hit it. The bull was, I think you killed the bull on that first shot, but I'm pretty sure you put a follow-up shot in.
I did. I put 2 shots in just because that's kind of what we had planned, in the sense of I got him and he went down on my first shot. Yeah. But just in case,
it kind of reared up and kind of was like staggering, and you just hit it, and it was a starch.
Yeah.
But her first shot was so good, by the way, when we were actually field dressing it, she had pierced the heart.
Yeah, so I felt really, really good about that. And then what's really important too, because we do shoot suppressed, what happened was that the other animal, like the other bulls and the cows that were there, they didn't even know what had happened, what we ended up doing, because there was another beautiful bull there.
Daryl's like, Jonathan, you take this one next. We got 20 minutes before the time cut off. So set up, let's see if we can get you on a shot. So we kind of set up, and it was one of those things where it started to get kind of dark.
Too dark.
And we were getting close to that time limit, so we didn't want to do anything that would be illegal. And so, you know, I passed, but Natalie, man, we walked up to her gigantic bull. Let's talk about that.
We're gonna go see my bull. I'm so excited. Thank you, God. Thank you.
It was really awesome. Of course, I made my kill at the worst time, in the sense of it was super dark. We get up to the animal, and I can't believe that it was as big as Jonathan was saying, because I don't know what was going through my head. I didn't realize how big it was until we got there. Once we saw how
Look like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
like it was like a Jurassic Park hunt.
I just felt really, really proud. I mean, I'm a softie. I have a hard exterior, but I'm really a sensitive soul.
Yeah, sensitive soul.
But it's more along the lines of, it was an ethical, I think it's not crying because I killed an animal.
I think relief.
Crying because it's like the relief of making a solid shot, being prepared, being able to handle the emotion that is running through you, the adrenaline as well, and also proud to be able to provide for my family, proud that I'm able to share that with my husband and our Jonathans that were there. It's like everybody turns into a family. Yeah. And so it's a really cool experience that you get to remember forever.
We immediately went in to possibly having Jonathan take his first shot. And then, so now, like my adrenaline has like calmed down, because then it went from being really excited and happy because we actually got to see my bull go down right in front of my face. It worked out because Thank God for Daryl, because he literally was right next to me. Daryl, it took a really long time to kill this wolf, but we did it. Patience.
I'm relieved. The best photo was when I got to send to my parents, and my dad was. And you guys who have been following me for a while, just seeing my family from Total Divas season 1, seeing just kind of how close I am with my family. You know, I literally lived to honor my parents and to see how excited and proud my dad was. It's a really cool moment to share. Feeling good because we got mine, and so that's one and done.
Yeah, you're feeling good, but then there was a big old wrinkle in that. So literally within an hour of us getting her elk broken down and back to camp, there's a storm, a massive rainstorm, like a massive rainstorm where we're not sure if even my next day we'll be able to hunt because it might be so muddy that we actually can't like traverse the terrain. I'm happy for her that she got this monster bull, but selfishly I'm like, that should have been my bull.
And a storm is coming in where
it may wreck our hunt. Like it may actually wreck our hunt where we are not able to hunt for X amount of days because there could be flooding as well, by the way. And if you're in these canyons and there's flooding, you could literally be in some big trouble. So the next morning, man, I'm like, okay.
You were real salty. Jonathan was actually really salty this hunting trip.
Yeah.
It's probably like 6 a.m. right now. We're up at 4:30. We're out here now, headed out to the elk. Where we saw them bed down last night. I'm feeling great, very excited. I'm excited to get in there. I'm excited to get a bull, get that meat, and it's just very, very cool feeling to be out here.
I mean, I always use the analogy or the little catchphrase of easygoing Jonathan, because anybody that knows him, he is not. He likes his things
precise.
Precision. Yeah.
Precise.
Yes.
Like this was
timely
planned
manner.
out. Everything needs to be planned out, precise. And so what had happened now is everything had been derailed, right? Everything had been derailed.
Weather.
Even the weather, the day that I was supposed to go, the day that she went. I mean, the whole thing.
Which is not how Jonathan likes to
No, now like our hunting season's like gonna be over possibly. But the amazing thing is we get up super early. It's still lightly raining where it's like, okay, man. And then for some odd reason, there's this big just break of the storm.
And the sun came out.
And the sun came out like
weird.
Crystal clear, beautiful.
Yeah.
Our guy Daryl was like, hey, listen, this is, if you look at the weather report, this storm is supposed to come in the next like 6 hours. So we have like a 6-hour window before this thing just really comes down even worse. And I'm like, okay, game on. Then it was all hands on deck. Natalie stepped up to the plate. She's like, all right, how can I support? Jonathan's our videographer, so like, all right, how can we support? And Daryl's like, we got to get this done. So I need you to be in like game mode from the second we get out of the trucks and start hiking. You need to be on, because if
everybody
we see
had
something,
to be quiet. Everybody had to be like, no fuckery, basically.
So me and Daryl are up ahead, and I'm looking back,
We're a little
and
bit
Natalie's got glass. The Jonathans have all got glass. Everyone's glassing. So we're hiking. We come over this ridge, and there's this another nice kind of like high grass type of it's gonna sound fake. This high grass, just beautiful sun, crystal clear morning, and we see it's all flat, right? Then it goes up to this big ridge, and on the top of the ridge we see crest over, we see this awesome looking bull and a couple of cows, but they're up on this ridge, and Daryl's like, these are the ones, this is great. All we need to do, we'll set up here, we need that bull, he's gonna come down. I know he's gonna come down and start eating some of that great grass. So let's just glass up on that. We'll keep an eye on him. We're kind of in this it's almost like a hollowed out like old tree trunk. So we're posted up there, we're looking at, and we're just laser focused. And then I turn back and I see this. It's the Jonathans and Natalie, and they're both doing everything they can to not make noise, but to get our attention. And we look, and they're like, I'm like, no, it's right there. It's right there. We see it there. And they're like, no, look over there. So we kind of have to reposition ourselves, and we glass out. And Daryl's like, dude, shows it to me, and this dope bull. It looked like literally Bambi's dad from the movie Bambi. This big, it was beautiful. He was like a model of a bull. It was insane. And it had walked down off the ridge and was literally walking broadside perfectly right in front of me and Daryl. And it was no more than 200 yards.
No more.
No more.
Yeah.
So I'm there. Daryl's like, this is it, man. Whenever you get it, this is it. This is it. I'm like, I'm on sticks, but I'm like, I'm used to being Prone is my best, obviously, but propped up against something is great for me as well. Sticks I'm a little uncomfortable with, but I've shot thousands of rounds. I'm confident, no problem. This thing is gonna get starched immediately. But I've never shot an elk before. So I'm on these sticks and this elk is right there, 200 yards out, right in front of me. And I'm like, why is my reticle
That's what people
doing this?
I love that
Why
you're saying
is
that,
my
though,
reticle
Jonathan,
doing this?
I love that you're saying that because people, when you're in that heat of the moment and you're looking at a live animal, you forget that your adrenaline and your heart is beating out of your chest. So even just the slightest movement of your breath is going bananas.
So then I'm doing everything. I'm box breathing. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing everything, and literally my reticle's just doing this. So I'm like, Daryl, dude, I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna take my shot. I'm not coming off the glass. I'm racking it right back in. There's gonna be an immediate follow-up shot. He's like, do it. I've seen you shoot. It's all good. So I'm like, boom. Bam, I shoot it. It was a good shot, but I know it's a little bit higher than I would like it. So I'm like, all right, cool.
He got it.
Immediately. Didn't go off, immediately rack back on. And the bulls come, Daryl's like, give it a second. You got him good. I'm like, dude, I know it was a little bit high. And it walks a little bit farther. I'm like, can I take the shot? He's like, take it now.
Yes. Motherfucking got it.
And it all happened, and I literally am just there, and I'm like, thank God. Like, thank God that this thing is.
And it was huge. It was beautiful. It was, I mean, we're really lucky because we got 2 beautiful bulls this season. And not only with Jonathan's, it was wild because, so we get up to the bull, gorgeous. The team comes out, Gary comes and helps field dress it, break the animal down.
Yeah.
We pack it out, we quarter it. And what's wild about it is as soon as we got the animal all broke down and done, then the storm
came and it was a storm.
We wouldn't have been able to hunt anymore.
But we weren't even able to come back to camp the next day because we didn't want to break everything down properly, pack it all up great, because the rain was so bad.
If you don't believe in God or if you don't believe in a higher power, I suggest you go on a hunt because you will see things that, I mean, I believe in God, so I look at everything as little signs and little glimmers of like little nods of him. You know, I feel like he's always there if you open your eyes and open your ears, giving you little signs. And for me, definitely, I felt like that was a big one. Jonathan was successful, I was successful. We get back to camp and everyone is just so excited for us. And it's just like the happiest.
And we're cooking the stuff together. We're all eating
sharing
it.
A meal.
We're getting it all cut up for the dogs. The dogs are with us, so like we're getting all the bones set up for them, and they're running around, tails wagging, smelling the elk.
Yep, packing up all the coolers full of ice. So this hunt, we are extremely grateful that we both made 2 ethical kills with 2 beautiful bulls. We've learned a lot, but I feel like I always tie things into hunting. The more that I'm getting into hunting, and this being my 2nd season, I always tie it into like life in general. You really go through that journey together.
You have to be ready to pivot.
Yes, and then once you get to the end, I guess the prize is the elk, the prize is the meat, the prize is being able to...
The experience with family and friends that you're gonna have for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of bring you guys on our journey and experience it with us, so...
And if you want to hunt, find a hunter, ask them, and I promise you they'll help you out.
Yeah. So until the next hunt, we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Mwah.